We start our journey in psychoacoustics by looking at the structure of the human ear. So an ear is an organ of the auditory and vestibular system, and the main function of the ear is to receive sound energy and convert it into chemical and electrical impulses which goes to the brain. So the human ear can be divided essentially in three main parts. So we have the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. The functions of the outer ear are the collection of the sound energy and transmission of this energy through the outer ear canal to the eardrum. So the outer ear canal has two advantages. First, it protects the eardrum and the middle ear from damage, and second, it enables the inner ear to be positioned very close to the brain, reducing the length of the nerves and resulting in a short travel time for the electrical impulses in the nerve. The outer ear canal exerts a strong influence on the frequency response of the human hearing, because it acts like an open pipe with a length of about 2 centimeters. So this length of about 2 centimeters corresponds to a quarter of the wavelength of frequencies near 4 kilohertz. So that means that the outer ear is responsible for the high sensitivity of our hearing in this frequency range, indicated by the dip of threshold in quiet around 4 kilohertz. The middle ear goes from the eardrum until the external of the oval window in the inner ear. So the main purpose of the middle ear is to transfer the vibration of the eardrum into waves in the fluid and membranes of the inner ear. So the sound affecting the outer ear, it consists of oscillations of air particles, and in the inner ear we have fluids that surround the sensory cells, and in order to excite these cells it is necessary to produce oscillation in the fluids. So the oscillations of air particles, they have small forces but large displacements, and they need to be transferred into motions of this fluid with large force but small displacements. And this is the purpose of the middle ear. The middle ear is protected from its surroundings by the eardrum on one side and the Eustachian tube on the other side. However, the Eustachian tube is connected to the upper throat region and is opened briefly when swallowing. So external influences in pressure, like mountain climbing, elevator, flying, or diving, can produce an increase or decrease in pressure, and this will change the resting position of the eardrum, and it leads to a reduction of hearing sensitivity. And then it's possible to equalize the air pressure in the middle ear with the environment by swallowing. Finally, we have the inner ear. So in the inner ear, we have the cochlea, which is shaped like a snail, like in this spiral shape, and it's embedded in the hard temporal bone. And the cochlea is filled with a watery liquid, the perilymph, which moves in response to the vibrations coming from the middle ear via the oval window and propagates to the apex, which is the top or the center of the spiral. As this fluid moves, the cochlear partitions, like the basilar membrane and the organ of Corti, they move. And thousands of hair cells sense this motion and convert that motion to chemical and electrical signals, which our brain interprets as a sound. In general, we've seen that the eardrum transforms sound wave into vibrations. These ossicular bones, they transfer the mechanical vibrations to the cochlea. The cochlear structure induces traveling waves along the length of this basilar membrane. This basilar membrane is full of neuroreceptors. They are connected along the length of the basilar membrane, and they convert this traveling motion into chemical and electrical signals. Here we have the cochlea of a 5-month-old fetus, and we see the spiral shape of this structure that is fluid filled and contains the coiled basilar membrane. The blue arrow here indicates the oval window, and the yellow arrow indicates the round window. Here's a detail of the organ of Corti, and we have the outer hair cells and the inner hair cells. And just for a comparison, this white bar here is 20 micrometers, and this is the picture of the organ of Corti of a Guinea pig. As we've seen before, these hair cells, they convert fluid motion into electrical impulses in the auditory nerve. At this website here, we have an interesting study, and we have some animations of the movement of these hair cells, and also the movement of the nerve fibers moving in response to electrically evoked outer hair cells contraction. And it's very interesting, so I encourage you to have a quick read about this study. Another interesting website is this one here. We see here this basilar membrane, if it's we unfold it, or the uncoiled cochlea, and we've seen here that von Helmholtz explained the mechanical coupling provided by the middle ear that optimizes the transfer of energy from the air to the fluid filling the cochlea. So it's also an interesting read.